Oh yeah, baby. I wanted to do a mashup today of my oh my gosh. I can't think of what it is. This is not relevant yet, actually. They're like struggling. Is this the first description of one of my books I'm giving review? But I'm gonna start over because I am just realizing how fucking rough that is. Hello, hello. I am the last goth unicorn, and I am doing a little mashup today, and I'm going to do my February reads. Just gonna list them out, give you a little summary, a little review, probably gonna get pretty spoilery. And then I am going to do my March TBR, and I hope that'll be kind of fun. So I want to get started with my February reads. I read 10 books in 8, 9, 10. I read 10 books in February this year. That has got this. Okay. So my February reads, I read 10 books in varying genres, mostly fiction, as I think most of the books that I have are fiction. But I did read, hilariously, two kind of synergized informational texts. So let's get into it. I'm doing this in order of, like, in reading order, like which ones I finished first. Continue, you know? So the first book I read was UFO Secrets Revealed by Phil Cousino. Phil Cousino. I apologize to every author whose name I totally butchered because I'm the butcher, baby. No, I'm not the butcher. I'm not the butcher. But I am pretty bad at names and I apologize. But I read this book. It's Secrets Revealed. It's about UFOs. It's from the 90s. It is literally just an informational text about primarily I think entirely American UFO stories, and kind of our history with UFOs, which is very fun. But it also was a little boring at times. And also, there's like a bunch of really cool resources in here that I can no longer use because this book was published in 1995, which was 30 years ago. So none of those are useful to me anymore, and that disappoints me. But I gave this book, I think, a 3-star. It's a fine book. It's just kind of it's kind of boring, and it didn't really teach me anything I didn't already know. But I am also like crazy about UFOs, so not super surprising. The second book I read is House of Stairs. Um, it is a kind of weird story where a bunch of teens, like 5 teens, I think. Yes, the 5 teens are put in a, like, I don't remember what that's called. They reference it in the labyrinth, but it's like that staircase that wraps around itself in like impossible geometry. Um, Basically, a bunch of teens are put into a place of impossible geometry where they have to meet the demands of a machine in order to get food. And that's just the basic premise. It is a weird book. It is definitely rooted in some MK Ultra paranoia, I feel, about like mind experiments and stuff. But it was something that was loaned to me by someone, and they just like were like, "Oh, you've got to read this." And I think they only did this because I was reading House of Leaves, or I talked about House of Leaves to them, and they were like, "House of Leaves? How about House of Stairs?" So I read this book. It was fine. I think I gave it a 2.5 or a 3 on Fable. It was an okay book. It was YA for sure. It was very Lord of the Flies. It was not super my thing, but it was a super quick read. Next, I read The Color Purple, and this book is a very good book. This is a book set in the early 1900s about a woman named Sally. It starts in her childhood, and she writes letters to God, where she just kind of talks about her life, and she talks about the abuse she endures. She talks about her sister, and she talks about just what is happening in her life and how her life is developing. And you get this really intimate, like, you get just like a really intimate setup of like a family dynamic of people who are just like I don't want to say down on their luck, because it's not that they're down on their luck. They're fucking systematically oppressed. Like you get this image of what life was like for people who are like forced into these like really unfortunate situations, and there are a lot of really memorable and really cool and fascinating characters throughout this book, like including Selly, the main character. There is Shug, who is amazing. I really liked Sophia. There we go. I don't know why I could not think of her name. I love Sophia. Sophia's story is like so there the character whose story, like obviously Selly's story like hurts at points, of course, because like it's a very sad book, but Sophia's story also just like fucking hurts. I think that I just think it's a really good book. It has really strong characters. I personally love Alice Walker's writing. I think that she is a fantastic writer, and the way that she writes is very it's really, really good. I think that the meditation on God in The Color Purple as well is so nice. Interpretation of God in The Color Purple is really beautiful. I think that the relationship between Selly and Shug is just absolutely incredible. Um it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. I think everyone should read it. It made me cry. 5 stars. It's a really good book. Moving on though, because I cannot spend all day talking about that one, because there's another book in here that I'm going to spend all fucking day talking about, is Volatile Memory. Uh, my next book is Volatile Memory. I'm not going to talk super long about this one. Volatile Memory is a sapphic romance revenge story. It is absolutely odd. So it is about a woman, a trans woman who is a scavenger named Willa, and she discovers this hawk mask that has the consciousness of a woman named Sable in it. Or I think her name's Sable. Yeah, I think it's Sable. I'm just going to assume it's Sable. I'm not going to get too intimate with it. This book was very solid in my opinion. I gave it a 4-star in my review because I had fun with it. I had a good time. It was just that there were times that I felt weird about Willa's self-hatred being such a central point of her character. And that is mostly to say that I didn't love that her self-hatred was so intimately linked with her being trans. Like, I think it is okay for her to, like, kind of hate herself, but it was so intimately linked to her hating herself for being trans in like a really weird way. And I was like, okay, if we didn't need to do that. Like, we could have tried something else, but you can't win them all. So I did dock a whole star for that, just because I felt, I don't know, I just don't really know how I feel about it still. But I'm sure there are some people out there who find it very relatable. I personally just was like, I don't know if we needed to do that, but it's okay. It's okay. But anyway, Volatile Memory, it's a very good book. If you are interested in reading more books with, trans and, like, more diverse, casts, give it a try. I mean, it's written by a queer person as well, so give it a read. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very interesting. I hear that it's one of Seth Haddon's more beloved books, so that's just hoping it's one it truly is. Anyway, that is all I have to say about Volatile Memory. My next book was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And man, oh man, I can see why people really love T. Kingfisher. This is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher, and it involves rabbits, or I guess it involves hares. They're different, I know. It involves hairs, it involves mushrooms, it involves a very fun main character. It was, I don't know, it was just delightful. I think that T. Kingfisher has a really strong development of like character just in like a few sentences. So like the second we meet, oh god, what's her name? Mrs. Potter. The second you meet Mrs. Potter, she has just like an insane vibe. Like she has her vibe down to a T. And I was reading like the author's note, and T. Kingfisher talks about how characters just like fall into her head fully formed, and I'm like, I believe that because you drop them on the page fully formed. And I really respect that. Like, as someone who can struggle with character building and character development, I really respect how strong the personalities of each of the characters are. I really, really respect, like, how well written it is as well. So, I adored What Moves the Dead. I thought it was really fun. I didn't think it was particularly super scary or anything, but it was just like a really nice, light, fun horror themed read. I've been trying to convince my partner to read it because I think they might like it, but we'll see. Okay, so my next book is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. This book is about a woman named Touraine. She is a conscripted child soldier who is going back to the country she was stolen from to help the colonizing kingdom of Belladere to basically control a rebellion situation that is happening. And this book is so good. So we have two perspectives in this book. We have Touraine, who is the conscripted soldier, and then we have the queen regent, the princess, I guess, I don't really know. Would you call her a queen regent? Would you call her a princess? I don't think either of those are technically correct. She is Luca, is her name, and she is on the way to she is next in line for the throne. Her father was the former king. Her uncle is currently on the throne, and he is not rescinding it to her, even though she is like of age to take the throne. Because of course he's not. This book I struggled with for about 50 pages. The first 50 pages I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much military jargon, and it's so stressful. But by the time I hit page like 52, I was like, I'm all in. I genuinely was like, I'm locked the fuck in. Like, this is so good. I really loved this. I thought it was so much fun. I had such a great time with it. I think I have so much I would like to say about this book. It has a magic system that is just perfectly in my interests. It has the Touraine and Luca's relationship went in a direction that I fully did not expect. Like, I absolutely expected it to be a very much Touraine kind of falling into this trap that Luca is setting, where Luca is like trying to manipulate Touraine. But instead, Luca was like, I'm fucking obsessed with Touraine. I need to be with her at all times. And it's like, damn, girl, you're crazy, but man, oh man. Anyway, this book is really good. It, I will say, has a weird vibe to it just because it is kind of like a colonizer romance, which is the best way I can put that, is because like Touraine was stolen as a child, and Luca is the like ruling class, and in the end, Luca does do what I think most people would consider to be like the right thing, which is she chooses, like, listen, I don't want to spoil everything. I just want to say it's a really good book. The relationship drama and the character drama within it is so good. Like, it is just like Like, if you read the Locked Tomb series and you really like the social drama, which, I'll be honest, if you read Harrow, and Harrow is like your favorite, if you like the social drama of Harrow, please give The Unbroken a try. It's really, really good. It hit a lot of those similar bones for me. It is queer, it is sapphic. Oh, it's really good. It's fantastic. I am so excited to start the second book. This series, the Magic of the Lost series, has the makings of being like one of my favorite series of all times. So I'm very excited about it. Anyway, I should not keep rambling about this. The next book I read was Lore, or The World of Lore Monstrous Creatures. This is just an informational book about different monsters from around the world. Obviously, it's not like a fully fledged almanac or anything. But it was decently informational. It's based off of the old podcast. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I think it was also like a TV show on Amazon or something, which I don't really know how you would do that, but maybe it was animated. I'm not sure. I never watched it. I got this as a resource when I was doing a Monster of the Week campaign, I think fresh out of high school, which was a very long time ago, if you could believe that. It's a very cute book. So it's got like this really beautiful art for the like inner pages, as well as just generally it has some nice art in it. If I can find it. Oh, there's a good one. Oh. Okay, I'm back. I'm back to the good ones. So we've got this cute little Mothman, and then we have this awesome Robert the Doll, because we love Robert the Doll. We love him. Anyway, I think it's got really cute art in it, and I am mostly keeping it as just like a general resource. It's got a lot of history in it. I want to say it's mostly American. There are definitely times when it's not American. There's talking about like Iceland and other. I just really remember the Iceland one. I think it's mostly European and American, and that's like it's fine. But you know, it's a fine resource. It's well researched for sure. It's truly not bad. I don't really know how to explain it because it's not really a story in the traditional sense. But if you are a person who likes kind of like little creepy things and you wanted a resource on more monsters and stuff, or you wanted to have something that's just a fun light read of like conversational information kind of stuff, then it's not a bad book. I give it a 3.5 because I read it too quickly. And if you just read it fully like a book, it will get repetitive. Like the cadence and some of the like, I guess just like the way it leads at times, it just gets kind of repetitive, and I found it really frustrating when I got towards the end. So I highly recommend just reading it in little chunks. Specifically, there's like different categories, like the Mothman category was like, I can't even remember it. It's called like the others. There's like little things. There's the reanimated dead or something like, or the resurrected dead. I don't know. I would recommend reading it in parts rather than reading it all together in one sitting. But to each their own, you know. Anyway, my next book was 100 Shadows. Anyway, this is an ARC copy of this book, which is kind of weird. But it's the version that I found at the thrift store. So this book, honestly, was so good. This book made me cry at my job during my lunch break. So big props to this book. It is about two young people living in Korea during what seems to be some pretty desperate economic times, and they are both like not people who are like super well off, but they're like in love, and they're like trying to cultivate their relationship, and they are also like, there is this thing happening where your shadow like will rise up. I really liked this book. Like I said, I cried while reading it, but there is a line in it that I really, really like, where it says, Do you think they call these places slums because if they called them someone's homes or their livelihoods, it would make it really awkward when they wanted to tear them down? And it's like, man, yeah, like, yeah, that's why they do it. I was really moved by it. I found it really powerful. It it affected me. It made my little heart hurt, and I really enjoyed it for that reason. So yeah, anyway, 100 Shadows, I highly recommend it. I kind of want to get a non-arc copy of it because it was genuinely that good to me. Anyway, the next book I read is on an entirely different note, was the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac. This book, I this book is literally a collection of different aliens that people have supposedly seen in social or not social, and that people have had supposed interactions with. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this book, and I'm gonna keep them on the DL, on the low key. I did not like this book for a lot of reasons. I gave it a 1.5 because it did provide me some really fun experimentations, but at the same time, I have a lot of beef with alien people for a lot of different reasons because I think aliens are very cool. I think the concept of them very interesting. My favorite movie as a child was Signs, which is not a good alien movie, I will say that. I love the alien films. I am obsessed with aliens as a concept. If there's a movie that has an alien in it, I will see it. I think alien stuff is so interesting. And I have so much beef with people who read things like the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac and take it to heart and believe in that shit. And I am going to make a huge video talking about it when I finish reading my last alien book I own, which technically I think it's my partner's, but I'm going to read it. And I'm going to beef really hard because I have read some bad alien books and I have a lot of beef. Anyway, 1.5 for that one. And then the last book I read was Panorama, which is a graphic novel, and I gave it a 2.5. It just was not really for me. I think the art was my favorite part of it, probably. But there was just like a lot of weird stuff happening. It is about like a guy who has I guess a condition. I don't really know what to call it, but basically his body like morphs and melts and like contorts. He's like born with body horror as a part of him. And it is about him running away from home and how people try to like manipulate him, and then he starts killing people, and then his girlfriend finds him, and then it just gets really weird from there. So it had a really interesting art. It was a very short read. I read it at the very end of the month just on like a whim. And yeah, that was it. Those were my February reads. I didn't have much to say about Panorama. Some of them were much better than others. It was actually a pretty strong month. I had 3 5-stars in there. That's pretty good. I had 3 5-stars and my lowest was a 1.5. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to talk about my March TBR. So usually I have a method of doing a TBR where I roll a random roller. I have broken up my books into specific genres. I roll for genre, and then after that, I will roll for what book in that genre. And it's a fun little thing. March is a terrible month for me. I do not know why, but for the last couple of years, March has just been an awful month for me. So I said to myself, this March, for my TBR, to do myself a favor, I'm gonna pick books that I want to read. I am going to pick books based entirely just on how I'm feeling, what my vibe is. So I have my TBR right here. I do want to say I am going to mention this book first because I actually have already finished a book this month. I know it is the second when I am recording this, but I literally spent most of yesterday reading The Bell Jar. And I don't want to say I spent most of yesterday. I spent a couple hours yesterday reading The Bell Jar. It's not a long book. Crazy pick for the start of my bad month. I'm like, so funny. I'll talk about this more later, but that was the start of my TBR. But in no particular order on when I'm going to finish these and if I'm going to finish these, because I also hold it within my rights to swap around my TBR whenever and however I feel. We have Alice in Wonderland. Harlan Ellison is one of my favorite authors, so I'm treating myself and reading this little anthology I found. I have The Celts by Alice Roberts. So this one should just be like a pretty easy read. I think that history, as I mentioned, like history and archaeology is really interesting. So I think this one should be pretty interesting. I know it has like colored pictures here and there in it as well. So hopefully this one will just be a nice little easy read. This one I did not pick. I will fully hold myself responsible, is that I will occasionally, when I finished the Bell Jar, I decided to do a roll because I couldn't decide what other book I wanted to read next, and I did end up rolling from Blood and Ash. And that's actually okay, because sometimes I want to torture myself in March, so this will be my torture book. I don't think I'm going to like this one. I'm not huge on romance, though. So that one should be good fun. Next, the book I'm like most excited for is The Faithless. I'm holding out a little bit. I'm still letting The Unbroken just kind of like cook, but I picked up this book and I said, why does Luca kind of look like a young Sigourney Weaver? Listen, I don't know if anybody else can see it, but I think she looks like a young Sigourney Weaver. I'm really excited. Oh, I'm so excited for this book. My copy is like, I'm so mad. I went to the store and I was trying to buy a copy of The River Has Roots, and I could not find it anywhere. Like, I didn't know where to look, but I could not find a copy of The River Has Roots, and it was making me so mad. Anyway, not important for this conversation. The Faithless, I'm super excited for it. I prevented myself from picking it up immediately the second March started. But then I also have Last Night at the Telegraph Club. I don't know if I'm going to like this book. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it. I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to try my hardest. This is part of my banned book reading. So I'm going to give it a good try. The next book I have selected is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I do not know how I'm going to feel about this book. I won't lie. I'm stressed out about it because technically this book was recommended by a foe of mine, somebody that I did not like at my job, who no longer works there, thank God, but they recommended this book to me, and I had already bought it, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got that one in my list. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. I'm really excited to give it a try. I'm glad it's not as many pages as I thought it was. Because I thought it was going to be like 800 pages. It's only in the 500s. So we're good. And then we have my last book for my TBR, which is Irish Fairy and Folk Tales, by W.B. Yeats. I already started a little bit of it. I read the first story in it, which was interesting. But yeah, that is my March TBR. Those are just books I selected for myself. I am going to throw this one in here. Is that I might read The Tender is the Flesh. I read The Unworthy by... Oh my gosh, okay. Apologies, Queen. Like, full apologies. Augustina Bazterrica? I think. I read The Unworthy by her, and it was so good. I loved The Unworthy. So I'm really excited to read Tender as a Flesh. My partners read a little bit of it, and they said it was good. So that one I'm probably going to add to my TBR. And who knows? Some of these might get ousted and replaced by other things. So if it comes to my March wrap up and it looks nothing like this, mind your business. So that is going to do it today. Yeah, let me know if you have read any of these books. Let me know if any of these books are interesting to you. I'm going to be making a DNF video eventually because I have been not finishing a lot of books this year, and that's my right. That's my gift to myself, is that I don't have to finish shit that I don't want to finish. If I read 600 plus pages of 1,153 page book and I decide that I don't want to fucking do it anymore, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm so sorry. This is about it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me drink Monster and talk about my books I'm going to read. This has been a lovely time. Thank you for watching. I hope that I see you sometime soon. Dale Cooper.